Hello, so welcome to another reading vlog. This week, I'm very excited to be going back to the Murderbot books. I have Fugitive, Telemetry, and also Network Effect, which I will be reading. I have actually started Fugitive, Telemetry. I think maybe I'm a third of the way through. I'm holding the physical book, but I'm actually reading it on my Kobo from the library because I love being able to write on the book and take notes on my Kobo when I have books from the library or when I have books on my Kobo. But I did also get the physical books from the library. This one I don't have on my Kobo, but mainly that's because I'm having Kobo shenanigans around trying to run 2 libraries through Libby, and I've only got this through one of them. And also I originally had this out from another library that I only have a temporary membership to, and it didn't seem to be working. Anyway, I might be able to get this on my Kobo, in which case I'll read this on my Kobo as well. But if you haven't heard about the Murderbot books, basically we are following this security robot that's like part human or has some kind of organic parts, and they are very sarcastic. They have hacked their governor modules so they can basically control themselves a little bit more than most security robots, and they have also hacked it so they can just watch TV a lot. They love downloading all the shows and watching all the shows, and they'd much rather be doing that than acting as a security robot. But they do often end up in a situation where they want to protect the humans around them. They're always frustrated that humans seem to be very stupid and do a lot of dangerous things for no good reason. So I have previously read the first 4 books in the series, and then now I'm up to Fugitive, Telemetry. I actually think, I'm always getting confused about it now, but I think Network Effect goes straight into the next book, System Collapse. But I'm still going to try and get through these ones in the next week. I do think I have System Collapse from the library as well, but I doubt I'll have time to get through all of them in the week. So far, all that's happened, actually, can I talk about what's happening in this one without spoilers? Not really. But Murderbot is with some humans that they're trying to take care of, and at the beginning of this one, a dead human has showed up and they're helping out with the murder investigation, which I'm quite enjoying. As well, this week, I will of course be reading an audiobook, even though how much audiobook time am I going to have? Maybe a bit tomorrow. Maybe I'll go for a run tomorrow. So I was going to be reading One Fell Sweep by Ilona Andrews. However, I've realised that fits perfectly for an Aurelium Readathon prompt, so we're going to put that aside for September since I'm behind on my reading anyway. Let's just put some things off, make it easier for myself. And instead what I'm going to pick up this week is another Iain Reid book. So I read Foe last week, and then this week I'm going to pick up, where is it? I'm thinking of Ending Things. So this, I have seen the movie, which means I have some idea of what the twist is. But basically it's about a couple driving in a car, I think, to see this guy's parents. And they're reminiscing about their relationship, but thinking about breaking up. That's not really what's happening though. Now that I've read Foe by Iain Reid and quite enjoyed like not knowing for the whole book what it was about, I'm quite interested to read I'm thinking of Ending Things. Even though I know what the twist is, I assume the movie twist is similar to the book twist. At least similar, right? But I think that might actually still be quite enjoyable because I'll be able to see all the hints and clues. Or maybe I'll be completely confused for the whole thing still anyway. Who knows? But hopefully I'll be able to find some time to read that. It's actually only a really short audiobook. So there's even a chance if I go for a long run tomorrow and I listen to it at 2 times speed that I could finish it in a day. Then what will I do with my reading plans? Who knows? But the other thing that is happening this week is on Friday. So it's currently Wednesday. Tomorrow I'll go for a run. And then on Friday we're going to drive back up to Auckland where my old house is. It's a 6-hour drive, so it's a long way. But we're going to go back up, clear out the last things in the house. We honestly have no memory of what we left there. So that's going to be a surprise. And then I need to get the carpet replaced, do a few other like tidying things up, and do like real estate appraisals and all that horrible adulting that like just this morning I booked in carpet quotes and real estate appraisals and I felt very adult, but I also did not enjoy phone calls and just trying to be, you know, like a grown-up. Ugh, awful. But I did do it. And it's going to be a week of that kind of stuff while we're up in Auckland. So I know I keep saying I'm trying to get back to just doing straight weekly vlogs, but who knows what's going to happen with my whole booktube schedule while we're up there, because getting the house sorted out has to be the priority, unfortunately. But I do think I'll still have some time for reading. And maybe I can even get in some audiobook time like while we're doing boring housework. I'm not sure. it's going to just have to be a wait and see kind of week.
We're chasing one another, getting lost in another summer. Never wanted it to end. Now I'm losing all my friends. I'm reminded of the pain when I'm on the interstate, me and the moon, and we think of you.
Hello. So I'm just walking around the lake. Well, I'm meant to be running, but I haven't been running, and I'm somewhat paranoid about filming in public, but we will attempt to do it because I wanted to tell you about I'm thinking of ending things. So I have started the audiobook while I came up here to the lake, and I'm thinking of ending things. I'm just so bored. I'm about 30% of the way in, and I think I'm going to DNF it. I don't even think I'm going to try continuing. It's just, wow, these trees are beautiful. I want to show you these trees. Hang on. That's really nice, right? Anyway, it's just so boring. I can't even, like, I know what the twist is, maybe that's part of the problem, but I actually don't think, like, with Foe, which I just read by the same author, it's a bit slippery here. If I die, that'll be funny. I just read Foe by the same author, and I feel like even though in that one I had no idea what was going on, it was kind of just this husband and wife having a weird relationship while he was preparing to go to space, but there was enough like hints of something weird going on. Whereas with this one, there's just not really any. It's just boring. It's just this couple in the car and she's thinking about breaking up with him, and I know that it's gonna get weirder because, again, I've seen the movie, but I'm just not interested. It's boring. I looked up some low rating. Like, I looked it up. There's some really great reviews of it, but I also looked it up and saw some really not great reviews. And I think if I continue reading it, will be a not great reviewer. And I did say that I was going to DNF 1 and 2 stars this year, so I need to try to do that, and so we're going to DNF it. So the next thing that I have to read is Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. I don't know if I'm going to like this either. I think it is about a couple of people that meet up in hospital or something, and then they like make a computer game together. Sounds like a romance, which isn't my thing. I have a vague memory though that it had some kind of time travel element, but I may have made that up. So we will listen to it. I might actually start running, and then I'll let you know how we go.
Pick it up from the top, hit restart. So far it's been so hard to live, but lately something in me changed.
Hello. So it probably sounds really echoey. My house in Auckland now is mostly empty. There's a few things in the cupboard. I'm actually right now waiting for the carpet guy, and he is very late, and that's very annoying. And if I look terrible, it's because this is a representation of what this trip to Auckland has been like. But if the carpet guy actually shows up, then we'll get the carpet done. Tomorrow we'll get this place actually properly emptied out, and then I will be able to sell it, which will be great. But right now I just feel like I've had to go over so many hurdles to get here, and I haven't even had a chance to like process the fact that my lovely house is empty and that I'm going to be leaving it behind. And also, like, I've barely read anything because I've just been like mentally overwhelmed with dealing with like real estate agents and carpet people and like clearing everything out and making like a million decisions about whether we want to keep things or not. So I don't have any reading update, and this is going to be just a really quick Auckland update, and who knows if I'll even update you until we get back to Whanganui. Honestly, I just want to go back to my new home now. This house is no longer really a home. It's just an empty house waiting to be sold. Although at the moment, like, we have the bathroom in here full of stuff, And then we also have the kitchen in here full of stuff, including a neighbor cat who is visiting. So, I don't know what's happening with this vlog. I don't know what's happening with this house. I don't know what's happening with the carpet guy. He's very late. But I'll probably see you again in Whanganui.
Lazy Sunday mornings, hiding under covers. I don't mind staying in with you. Play your favorite movie, laying right beside me. I don't mind when it's just us two.
Hello, so I'm still very tired. However, we have made it home, so I'm now much less stressed and we can actually get some rest, which will be very nice. It's just good now. We have everything moved and my house is done, ready to sell. It's kind of all with the real estate agent now, and we can just enjoy life and try not to stress too much about the actual sale process of my house. But anyway, I do actually have a reading update for you. So the carpet guys finally came like 5 minutes before I was about to ring their boss and say, where are you? But then as well, they ended up staying much longer than they said they were going to take. And so for like a couple of hours, I ended up sitting outside just waiting for them to finish. And so I did finish off Fugitive Telemetry. I will say, like, it's very short and in some ways like a simple murder mystery type things. There were some cool twists and turns at the end. The main focus is again kind of Murderbot trying to integrate with humans and find their place amongst humans. To be honest, my favorite part quite often in these books is the bots that Murderbot interacts with. And I think that was true in this one too. And unfortunately, we only really got a little bit of the bots at the end. I wish there had been more of that explored and that maybe the story had been a little bit longer to allow for that. But still, it was a lot of fun. And actually, I think it was good that it was short because it was just quite quick to read, even though I took a long time. But I would have drowned if it had been any longer. And I actually think now I'm not going to get to Network Effect, even though I have it from the library, and I even managed to get it onto my Kobo, which I was struggling with. But it's already September now, the 1st of September. So I want to get into my Aurelian books as soon as I can. However, there is something else I need to read before I get into the Aurelian readathon, and that is Sanctuary by Ilona Andrews. So I was waiting so long for the carpet guys that not only did I finish off Fugitive Telemetry, but I started Sanctuary. This is like a spin-off novella from the Kate Daniels world following this dark priest. And at the beginning, this young boy turns up at his house in the middle of nowhere and requests sanctuary, and there's a bunch of people hunting this boy that he kind of has to battle against. This is a book that, like, if you haven't read the Kate Daniels world, I don't know if it would be a good place to start, but also I personally started the Kate Daniels world with a short novella that was on the side, like a short story, so maybe it is. But also, like, I think the main character is quite different from some of the other main characters that she has in that world. Right this second, I've forgotten his name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I think for me, it's just always really comfortable to come back to this world. And as well, he has like all these different Slavic like mythological creatures kind of hanging out with him, and they're all kind of like creepy and cute at the same time, which I'm enjoying there, or I'm enjoying that element in the story. So I think I'm about 60% of the way through that. I'm going to finish that off. I also need to finish off Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. So I actually was really liking it in the beginning when it was about these two kind of new adults who had been friends when they were younger. They had a falling out, then they meet up again and they're kind of reforming their friendship. And I was quite enjoying that. But then the next part has started to be just all about this game that they're making and like the process of making a game. And it's very into like, it's set in the 90s, and the terrible thing is that I think I saw this tagged as historical fiction. As someone who grew up in the 90s and like went to university about the same time that these young people went to university and studied computer science at the same time, like everything that's happening to them is very relatable, and knowing that some people are reading this as historical fiction is somewhat heartbreaking. But also, I've said in the past that I don't really like historical fiction, and you know what? I don't know if I even like historical fiction when it's set in my own time. And that's probably no surprise because I don't like contemporary books either. I'm just a bit bored. I thought there was going to be a little more of a sci-fi twist, but so far I don't think so. I think it's more about the relationships and just the character analysis. So I'm not bored like I was with I'm Thinking of Ending Things, but I'm also not sure that I'm going to really take anything away from the story beyond just like getting to know these characters. And that's not really why I personally read. So far I'm a little bit bored, but we'll see. I'll probably finish it on my run maybe tomorrow if I can gain enough energy to go for a run. I guess we'll see. Hello, so editing Penny here. I think this video might be somewhat cursed. I tried to update you while I was on my run and then it was way too windy. You couldn't even hear me. I had to throw all that footage out and then I came home. I filmed a little update and I'm just editing it now and discovering that the first half that I thought at the end of it my camera battery died. It didn't die. It just turned off because it wasn't filming. Because I never push record. So I don't have the first half of that update, which is just great. Anyway, I was telling you another disaster story about how when I was on my run, I forgot to plug in my power bank and so my phone died in the middle of listening to my audiobook. And then when I restarted it, Libby said, "Oh, we've lost all your data." And it did do some kind of recovery thing and it said we've mostly recovered your data, but it lost all of my downloads. And because I didn't want to use my mobile data in re-downloading the audiobook, I didn't have an audiobook for the second half of my run. So that wasn't great. But I think what I said when I first did this update and wasn't recording is that I'm kind of glad to take a bit of a break from that book because it's not necessarily that I'm bored, but maybe it is that I'm bored. I think the problem is in the beginning it was telling the story of these two young people at university kind of meeting up and rekindling their friendship after they had a falling out when they were younger, and I quite enjoyed that part. Then we really got into this bit where they've decided to make a game together and it's a lot about like the game development process and the creative process of making games, and it started like going quite high level and skipping through their life more rather than like telling a focused story where you're following along with the characters' actions. And I feel like because of that we're losing a lot of the depth, and I feel like people who went into this book really wanting like the romance and the relationships and like the characters, I feel like we're not getting enough depth for people to really be getting that. And at the same time, the plot isn't really that interesting. It is doing this thing where it's kind of telling the story in a non-linear way. And I think it's really using that to show you how different sides of the story, like how people can see things in different ways depending on the information they have, because it will make you kind of see something and then you get a new piece of information and you're like, oh, maybe it wasn't what I thought at first. But it's not doing much with that. Like what I just said makes it sound much cleverer than it really is. And as well, what I think I will say at the beginning of the next, I'll skip you back to past Penny in a minute, and she's going to be talking about how frustrated she was with the characters not communicating to each other because that was really annoying me. So go talk to past Penny. And my camera battery died, but anyway, I'm completely frustrated with the way these characters are like misunderstanding each other and like supposedly they're friends, but they're never like giving each other the benefit of the doubt. And actually, just before my phone died, I've remembered now, something happened that I just felt was dealt with so shallowly and felt like it was kind of just being pulled out for the drama rather than really fitting the story. Anyway, let me check how far through I am. I think at this point I might just finish it next week, save it for the next vlog, because I'm 60% of the way through, but I've still got 5 hours of listening. I'm listening at 2 times speed, that'll be 2.5, but still, it'll take me time. So I'll finish that off in next week's vlog, but I don't think it's going to be a favourite or anything. It's just going to have been an okay story. And I'm so confused because, I don't know, I feel like when I first heard people talking about it, they were saying it was something really cool, and I'm not getting that. Like, I'm sure it had a sci-fi element to it. I don't know what it was that made me interested in reading this at this point. Maybe I just made something up in my head. The other thing that I did finish reading is Sanctuary by Ilona Andrews, and I enjoyed it. I will say I feel like overall there wasn't that much substance to the story. In a lot of ways it feels like just a setup for a potential new series. We did meet a potential love interest for Roman. I remembered his name, it's Roman. And like I felt really comfortable being back in the Kate Daniels world, and I love the way that Ilona Andrews like incorporates different mythology and learning more about Roman and all these cute little creepy creatures that he has with him. Like I enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the philosophy around the mythology of being a dark priest and how good and bad isn't necessarily like a strict either or, and also that darkness doesn't necessarily have to be bad. So like you can be a dark priest but not necessarily be a bad guy. Anyway, I liked a lot of the ideas and I had a good time with it, but it again maybe won't stick with me in the long run. Although I could probably think about the ideas in it for longer. I will say, like, so I don't think this is a great place to start if you haven't started the Kate Daniels world, but if you have, this would be a great Christmas read, I think, because it's kind of set at Christmas time. Anyway, I do think we are going to wrap up the vlog here, even though I think it was kind of a shorter one, but there was just too much going on. So let me know if you've read any of the books that I talked about, because I would love to chat with you about them down in the comments. Do subscribe if you'd like to see more of my bookish videos. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you are doing well, and I will see you next time.